Hey guys, it's Troy again with another edition of Pen Mail. Although this is one I had purchased some time ago, but I've never been able to use it until now. I had this particular pen. It is a desk pen. I have several desk pens, Esterbrook's, I got some Sheaffers, and this actually is a Sheaffer as well. The other Sheaffer I've got is a cartridge pen, so it just takes an ink cartridge or converter, and I just put some cartridges in it. And this particular one is a Snorkel. The Sheaffer Snorkel is a very complicated design, and it's one that was prevalent, I think, in the 1960s, probably 50s into the 60s. I've got a PFM that's a Snorkel. I've got another an Admiral that's a Snorkel, and the touchdown filler is something that's very common with antique Sheaffers as well, and some without necessarily having the snorkel system. Why do they call it a snorkel? Well, let me show you. I've shown you this before in other videos, but I'll go ahead and show you with this one. This, obviously being a desk pen, it's made to sit in a base. This, instead of, there's some Sheaffer bases that are out there, some that I actually have seen that I wouldn't mind buying, but I have this 8-ball. It's an Esterbrook 8-ball meant to hold an Esterbrook desk set, and I've got 3 Esterbrook's like this. I have one that sits on my desk at all times, in another 8-ball base. So this will just sit like that in that particular base, and it seems to fit just fine. And I'll determine at a later date whether or not I want to order a nice Sheaffer stand for it. You can tell that it's got some threads here, so it looks like there may have been an end cap that could have gone on this, but obviously I do not have that. But I had not that I shipped it off to, but handed it off to Greg over at Antique Digger, antiquedigger.com. I've shared with you his website numerous times, but he was up at the Triangle Pen Show, and knowing that I was going to run across him, I brought this with me because he was going to be my my choice individual to go ahead and work on it. I have not inked it up yet, so I will do so here with some Waterman. I figured, why not? Let's do Serenity Blue. I usually put black ink into black pens, but I've got it, so why not? So let me show you how it works. Usually on a Snorkel, you would end up with a back knob. Well, in this, it's no different. You just have the taper down, and the taper is the knob. So as I'm doing that, the Snorkel extends. So let me show you that. See that Snorkel right there? That's why they call it the Snorkel. Now watch what I do when I tighten it back up. See, that's retracting like that. Alright, and that's the tube that goes into the ink. So it's tightened up. Let's unscrew it again, and that tube extends, and this comes back, and there is a sac in here, and what happens is you depress this, and it actually aerometrically squeezes that ink sac in here, just like you would squeeze it normally with either your fingers, if you had an the aerator type of thing, or the aerometric filler, or with a lever that would depress a pressure bar. So what you would do is you put that into the ink. Listen to this. You hear that? You can hear that aspirate. So it actually shoves down air to depress that sac. So let's go ahead and ink this puppy up. I put that on with a little bit of Gorilla Grip last time. And I'm getting towards the bottom of this ink bottle. So let's go ahead and put the Snorkel down inside. You hear that? I know it's kind of hard to show on camera here, but I'll try to do it this way. I usually get more than just a Snorkel. The whole idea was that you didn't have to put the entire nib into the ink, but I usually end up doing that anyway. I'll do it again. So in theory, by now, we should have a full pen. So let's go ahead and retract that Snorkel. And let me wipe it off. It's all over there. You can tell I've already been fighting with pens today because I've got some ink all over my hands, like turning into a big blue Smurf, and I actually washed my hands just before doing this video. So I'll set that down, cap my ink, All right, so here we go. This is not does not have the conical nib, but it has a a nice traditional style nib on it. So let's roll with it. A Sheaffer Snorkel. It's got a desk set. A desk set pen. I like Sheaffers. I mean, my favorite brand is got to be Waterman, but Sheaffer to me is a close second. Sheaffer made some fantastic pens, in my humble yet most accurate opinion, as always. This particular one lays down a good amount of ink. It's got some good flex to it. And it is very smooth. My understanding is that Greg may have done a little bit of nib work on this one, so I certainly don't have to do any nib work on it as it sits, or as it writes now. So it's a good wet writer, and as always, my ink. Not that this is always my ink, but a Waterman. As always, I try to tell you at least what the ink is. Beautiful blue ink, though. This will be my only desk pen that I've put blue ink. I typically use black inks by Birmingham. Actually, also some Noodlers from time to time. I'll use their bad black moccasin an awful lot in some of my pens. And also some Waterman Intense Black. But this Waterman Serenity Blue is definitely one of my favorite inks. Definitely my favorite blue ink. And this is my Sheaffer Snorkel desk pen, back in the mail just today from being repaired. So Greg went ahead and tore that sucker apart, put in a new sack, put on some new seals, and there I go. Brand new desk pen for me. When I first got it, this feed was actually cracked and broken halfway through, so I needed a whole new feed put onto it. So fortunately, he repairs enough of them that we actually had, or he had, a spare feed he could throw on this thing for me. And obviously, I had the nib, and I'll probably I may end up polishing this up just a little bit because it's a little scuffed. But then again, I didn't pay a whole lot for this when I first got it. I think it was like under 20 bucks. When I purchased it, and it was worth the effort to go ahead and the expense to go ahead and get this nicely done. So fountain pen repairs, antiquedigger.com, and by the way, when you go and talk to Greg, feel free to let him know that you saw and heard about his work on my channel. All right, hey, thanks for watching. Bye.